Howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are continuing on with Echo. I decided that I was actually gonna. Oh, Jesus Christ. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I am going to be streaming Echo again today, and yeah, we're gonna be continuing on. I just gotta remember the voices I did, and I'm so sorry if I don't. It has been a long day at work. I promise, though. I'm going to try my hardest. Anyway, hope y'all's day has been going well. Hope everyone's been having a good one. I had some tres leches, so I am very happy and I'm very ready. Anyway, let's go ahead and give it a second, and then we will jump right into it. Hope you guys are ready. Hope everyone's, you know, ready to continue because I definitely don't know what to expect from this game. First episode almost had me cry, so maybe the second episode is also going to do that. Let's see. Anyways, without further ado, we have an ad break starting in about 5 minutes. So when it starts, I'm going to try to slow down on my reading. But yeah, welcome back. Let's jump right into Echo. You guys ready? Oh, as we're saying our goodbyes, I remind Leo about the shots I need of the lake. He says he'll talk to the other two about it after they leave. We all say our goodbyes before Leo, Carl, and Flynn take off. TJ takes his usual hour getting ready for bed, while Jenna does some schoolwork. By the time I'm finished brushing my teeth, I'm grateful to see them both in bed. I get under the covers next to TJ and lay there for about an hour, staring at the ceiling. Slowly, I slide out from under the covers, careful not to wake TJ. Quietly, I slip my jeans on and grab my jacket before heading out the door. Toby builds a small sandcastle next to the lake in the process of digging a moat around it. Jenna drops a few twigs next to it before running off to find more decorations. Flynn is talking to Sydney, pointing at Toby's sandcastle. Sydney looks hesitant, but excited. He seems to make up his mind, suddenly running forward and kicking the top of the tallest castle. It breaks easily, with most of it flying into Toby's face. Toby flinches back, shocked, before immediately crying as he rubs his eyes. Jenna comes running from across the beach, yelling before showing at Sydney, who's laughing. She turns to Toby, trying to help him clean his face, but the lynx pushes her away before running towards the trail back to Echo. Monday. I feel like I should have just finished up with the night. Yi Ya River feeds Emma Lake from the north. It's a farther drive than the lake itself, but it does have a few nice clearings along its edge. One of them has a few beaches and rusted to hell public grill that I'm sure no one has used in decades. This is the place that we go. As we're unloading Leo's van, I decide to get the B-roll of the lake right away. I don't have much presence in the packet, so I think I'm just going to narrate it over it later. The actual lake is only a few minutes walk from here. It's a bit difficult to navigate around the sagebrush, and I know I'm going to have to check for ticks later. By the time I reach the lake, my friends are pretty far behind me, hidden behind a few bends and hills. I'm getting uncomfortable with the idea of me holding the camera while I navigate this terrain. Probably would have been better if Leo had just parked the car next to the reservoir while I got out to film, but I guess even that still wasn't okay. There's a large square of paved ground next to the parking lot. Now, several benches and a row of brand new grills. Several lamps have been erected around the area too. Leo was right about the town trying to turn the reservoir into a recreational spot. I can actually see a few jet boats skimming through the water, leaving long trails of white behind them. There's even what looks like a feline of some sorts fishing in the shallows. It would explain why the motel is still in business. Lake Emma is fairly small, probably only about 12 miles long and 5 wide. I look around before climbing to the top of the nearby hill to get my shots. Even with the few people there, it's still pretty quiet. aside from the train horns, and it's kind of eerie. I wrap up and start to quickly make my way back. It's hard to explain why I'm getting freaked out in broad daylight with people around. Either it's because of what happened all those years ago, or I'm just psyching myself out. I'm glad to hear my friends' voices again as I get close. Then again, it sounds like they were fighting. Been acting like a dick all day. Be glad I came here at all. Apparently, it would have been better if you hadn't. Maybe I should just fucking leave then. It sounds a lot more serious than our usual squabbles, so I quicken my pace. They seem to quiet down a bit once they see me coming. Teach is off to the side, looking out over the river, occasionally throwing a rock into it. Carl sits in a lawn chair, one of 6 that have been set out in a semicircle. He has his chin on his fist as he lazily stares at me. Jenna and Leo both stand next to each other, looking at Flynn, who's got his back turned, rummaging through the cooler. Hey, what's wrong? Leo sighs. Nothing. You got your film? Yeah. Got it. The silence is still awkward, and I have no idea what the hell to do with myself. I finally realize that I'm still holding the camera and decide to put that away. Hey, I'm gonna go for a quick swim. Haven't been in water in a while. When we first got here, I was completely disappointed to find out that the motel didn't have its own swimming pool. Being an otter, I usually like to swim at least once a day, if not more. It's been 3 days. I'm feeling antsy as hell for it. Flynn finally turns around, a beer in his hands as he cracks it open. It was true that he'd been acting a bit strange today. He'd held up the entire trip by a few hours, and when he'd finally show up, his eyes were bleary, and he seemed sluggish, like he'd been up all night. When we asked if he was alright, he brushed us off. Yeah, thanks for the help setting up Chase. You're about as useful as this fat ass here. He swings his paw holding the beer can at Carl. Flynn. So, enjoy that swim while I set everything out. Yeah, I will. Make my soda a diet while you're at it. I've had it with Flynn. He's souring the trip with his need to be an asshole. Go fuck yourself. I ignore him as I strip off my shirt and head to the riverbank. I pat TJ on the shoulder as I pass him before slipping into the water. We're currently in the middle of a drought that has lasted for the past 3 years, so the water's low, only about 10 feet at its deepest. It's enough though, and God, it feels good. It's spring, so the water is pretty cold. I swim back and forth a few times before finally diving in. Eventually, I settle on drifting to the bottom, lying and gripping on the rocky floor as I stare up at the shimmering light above me. I feel the gentle current run over my body. It's nice to be away from all the tension above me. I feel isolated, alone, and for now, that feels good. Only I could really come down this deep, the others not being able to hold their breath for as long, or being too little. I remember when we were younger, I would give the others rides around the lake, able to swim for nearly half a mile and back. Even Flynn the asshole had done it a few times. It was a skill that I had that I was proud of, even if it was inherent to my species. Still made me somehow useful, or at least different from everyone else, in a good way. I had always felt like the odd one out in the group, as strange as it sounds. Where everyone else had strong, distinct personalities, I was just average. Sometimes I wonder if they were just friends with me because we had all had to be when we were younger. The whole trip has kind of forced me to think back on all the memories I have of this place and my friends. They're always doing cool things, being different. Well, I just sort of blended into the background. Even then I wanted to do something to stand out somehow. That's what I'm trying to do here, I guess. It's been about 7 minutes, and I only know that because that's about as long as I can hold my breath. I decide I should go back up and help out, so I slowly let myself float back up towards the surface, trying to stay in the same spot. When I surface, it's pretty quiet. For a second, I wonder if everyone's just gone. Of course, that's ridiculous. As I come over the embankment, everyone's there. Predictably, Flynn again didn't get my food out, so I go to the cooler and grab a sandwich and soda before sitting in an empty chair next to Leo. Apparently, it was a good idea to bring the lawn chairs, considering the tables looked like they were covered in a year's worth of bird shit. How was your swim? His tone is bitter and salty. He's not in his usual grumpy but good-natured mood. He's genuinely unhappy. What the hell was his deal? Amazing. I'm gonna have to come back here again sometime during the week. You lizard people don't understand. You hardly ever need water. So it always scares the hell out of me when you're down there for that long. I'm built for it. Remember when you give us rides? That was fun. Remember when you'd always scream like a girl when Chase would go too far out? Oh wow, I remember that now. Hey, I've never really liked water. Anyway, Chase would do it on purpose. He knew I didn't like it out to a certain point. Carl looks at me. You know what was really cool? When you would take us down for a dive. Oh yeah, Chase was like our own little submarine. I'm starting to get that otters are swimming clowns vibe again. Still, I kind of enjoy the attention. We get you to take us to the bottom so we could look for treasure. Leo makes air quotes around the last word. And you know, we probably would have found way more stuff if you guys hadn't been dragging me down. I remember when... Are we really fucking talking about this? Everyone turns to look at Flynn. His voice low and dangerous. There's a chill in the air because we all know what he means. I was actually feeling pretty good about it at this point. Like we'd crossed a bridge, being able to talk about it for once. Apparently, we hadn't. Flynn. No, I'm serious. Do you think it's okay to fucking talk about this when the lake is just a quarter-mile that way? You know what, Flynn? I think we should. Isn't that part of the reason why we're here? No. If that were the case, we'd be over there. But we're here, and why is that? Everyone's quiet for a moment, and I see TJ shrink into his chair, staring hard at his lap. Flynn, we came here because Chase needed footage. A change comes over Flynn. His face darkens, and everyone senses it. Flynn turns to me, and it takes some effort not to flinch back. Yeah, and why is that, Chase? You gonna put that in your fucking documentary? No, Emma Lake is an important part of Echo's history. Just what? Flynn raises his brow ridge at me, and I finally lower my eyes. This was a stupid fucking idea. You know what, Flynn? If you'd be a little more open, tell us what's on your mind. We'd be able to avoid a lot of this kind of stuff. Oh, you want to know what's on my mind? Flynn swivels and marches up to Carl. Alright, let's start with you. You're fat, lazy, no motivation, no future. What in the hell are you planning on doing with your life? Sit here, waste away in Echo, mooching off your parents until you're dead? Carl stares back up at Flynn impassively, though he hunches in on himself a bit further. Flynn, don't do this right now. And you, thinking you're better than everyone else. I can tell you think everyone in Echo is trash. Just because me and the others haven't left, you think we're lower than you. Just because we don't have an education, we're a bunch of retards. Oh my god, okay, this got dark quick. Yeah, well, you left your whole fucking family behind without even saying goodbye. You know what's even going on with them right now? What they're dealing with? Yeah, real fucking hero you are. You think I... Stop it, Flynn. Ah, our unquestionable leader. We wouldn't have been friends without you, would we? That's why you brought us here, right? So we could all bond. Or wait, was it just because you wanted to get into Chase's pants? Leo's ears fall flat. Probably. You've been a mess ever since he's left. So let me be the one to tell you. It's over. It's fucking unhealthy. You're obsessed with him. Slowly his head turns towards me and I brace myself. And I can't imagine why. You, Chase, have the personality of a fucking rock. I wish you could see yourself. You just sit there like a creep, watching everyone, weighing everything that we say. And don't think I haven't caught on the way that you stare at all of us, like we're objects to be collected. What, are you just planning to cycle through all of us for sex? Sure, seems like it. Flynn stops and exhales. It seems like it's over. I really hope it is. That proves futile, though, as Flynn slowly turns to TJ. I'd silently prayed that the Lynx would make a run for it while Flynn had all his attention focused on us, but TJ looks apathetic. Like a statue. Like there's no soul in him. Flynn pauses, though, as if he's at a loss of words for what to say. Finally, what happened, TJ? Flynn. Leo stands up, and from his posture, I can tell the wolf is ready to fight. Memories are starting to flow back. TJ, Flynn, thinking he'd done something to... I stand up as well. Flynn may sound like a hard ass, but physically, Leo had him beat, easily. Flynn can obviously tell that he might have a fight on his hands, though, and it's clear he doesn't want that. He drops his shoulders, seeming to shrink, as if invisible strings that had been holding him up were cut. He turns to us, then gestures at TJ. I just want the truth. Can we just put a stop to this today, right now? I don't know how much of a nightmare this has been. I don't think you know how much of a nightmare this has been for me. Not really knowing, TJ. TJ stares at Flynn, muzzle set grimly. What happened to Sydney? It's dead quiet. TJ stares at his lap, not moving. Come on, let's... Flynn's holding up his hand towards me, still staring at TJ. Slowly, TJ looks up, his face still stoic, still made of stone. I already told you what happened. Bullshit! Flynn steps forward, but Leo's there to grab the back of Flynn's shirt and swing him around. I dodge out of the way as Flynn is flung back to land on his ass, kicking up a big cloud of dust. Shit! Flynn, I swear to God, if you start a fight here, I'll drop your stupid ass. Everyone except TJ is standing now, staring at Flynn. Flynn sits there, glaring up at Leo, obviously weighing his chances. He seems to come up short, though, as he spits to the side and stands up, brushing off his pants as he turns away. You're all okay with not knowing? Fuck all of you! He turns back around, hands in his pocket, a bitter look on his face. This whole thing was stupid, Leo. We're not even friends anymore. Flynn scuffs the ground before turning and walking towards the trail that goes back to Echo. God damn it, Flynn. Fuck off! Flynn keeps walking, and it's pretty clear that he isn't coming back. I raise a paw and rub it over my eyes. What was he doing? He's a passionate guy that'll sometimes just explode with all his insecurities before running away and hiding for a few days. He skewered us all like that before. That was classic Flynn. But he was especially mean. Dark. And the part with TJ, I vaguely remember Flynn having some sort of suspicion, but that had been a long time ago. Had he been sitting on that this whole time? I look to the left and see that TJ's gone. Carl's still sitting down, but now it looks like he's pulling out a joint. Leo's walking off down another trail, cursing while Jenna follows him. I stand there, next to my chair, undecided. Follow Jenna and Leo. I watch Jenna's tail disappear through the sagebrush. They're headed down the same trail that I had used to get to Lake Emma. TJ did seem to head off in that direction while we were fighting, though I can't imagine he'd go to the lake. I should go with them to help find the Lynx. I'm also a little worried about Leo. It's been a long time since I've seen him that pissed. When I get there, I find Leo leaning back with his rear up against a big boulder on the shore. Bittersweet memories flood in. That rock is almost as much a staple of my childhood as the actual lake is. It's weird that every memory I have of this place is dreamy and gold-tinged, but always has a hint of sadness about it, no matter what the situation was. Jenna's standing in front of Leo, her arms folded as she talks to him. I can't see his face, but his posture is sagging and his ears are down, looking way older than he actually is. I stand back for a while, feeling awkward about intervening at this point. Leo occasionally shakes his head, then takes out his phone to look at it. I can see Jenna's getting annoyed, but then she says something and Leo turns his head to look back at me. I seize up for a second, but Jenna's beckoning me with her paw while Leo isn't looking. I start stumbling over the rocks towards them as Leo looks back down at his phone and Jenna starts walking towards me. Just talk to him. He'll listen to you. She passes by me, going back towards the trail. Sure, he'll probably listen to me, but I have no idea what I should say. The rocks are actually hard to navigate, especially when you don't have any protection for your feet. I'm almost at the boulder when my foot catches on the edge of a rock. I yelp and fall forward, knees first, into the sharp rocks. Ah! Pain shoots up my leg, and my eyes clench shut as I cringe slightly. Shit! You alright? I look up and see Leo looking down at me, his ears up now at the sound of my fall. Yeah, fine. Leo frowns and reaches over with the paw, which I grab onto and pull myself up with. I make my way around him, being a little more careful about where I put my feet as I position myself next to him against the boulder. I put both my paws behind myself and heave myself up on top of the boulder, letting my legs dangle over the side. I'm so damn clumsy. You're an otter. Wow, asshole. I say it jokingly, but Leo's not really smiling. Instead, he sticks his paw back in his pockets and he pulls out a slightly flat-looking cigarette. I give a start and stare. I shouldn't be surprised. I could smell it on him when I first got here. It's just that I'm not used to seeing him do it. He started right after I left. He pulls out a lighter, lights it, takes a drag, then blows smoke out of the side of his muzzle, away from me. You're meant to swim, not walk on rocks. I mean, technically, Carl was built for that, and he's still falling down all the time. I think that's because Flynn's always tripping him with his tail. Speaking of Carl, grunting, I lean over sideways and look at the side of the boulder. I find what I'm looking for instantly. A series of chips and scratches, outlining the rough figure of a canine with a long cape and an S on his chest. It's still here. Carl's drawing. Shit, I forgot about that. Never finished it, did he? Nah, but it's pretty good. Remember how Superwolf was the only thing he talked about that summer? Yeah, that movie wasn't even that good. He loved it though. Yeah, and I guess that's all that really mattered. Leo grimaces and reaches over to my knee. I wince and I look down as he puts his thumb and index finger around the cut that I hadn't noticed until now. Blood is oozing through the fur, leaking down my shin. We'll need to clean that out. I shrug. It's not a big deal. Nah, we'll stop at a convenience store and get some peroxide. There's some nasty shit around this lake. It's fine, seriously. Just to be safe. I smirk. Safe? Like this? I reach up and grab the cigarette dangling from his lips. He's quick though and whips his head away before taking it out of his muzzle. Hey, don't hey me. Why the fuck are you smoking? His ears fall flat again and he glares. Why the fuck do you care? He spits that out with so much venom that I lean away from him, eyes wide. He's never talked to me like that before. And I was joking too. What? Leo quickly looks away and doesn't say anything. I stare at his face for a while, watching his eyes flicker around as he just shakes his head. Are you still mad at me? We talked. Of course I'm still mad, Chase. Talking doesn't just fix 3 years. All the progress I thought we made on Saturday was an illusion. Leo's just as upset as he'd always been about what happened. I don't know what you want me to say. What do you want me to say, Leo? That I was wrong to leave? That I should have stayed here? Not leaving me in the dark would have been a good start. Yeah, I fucked that up, but it happened and I can't fix that. What do you want to happen now? Leo stretches his arms around. Leo stretches his arms out to either side in one giant shrug. I don't know. This is already familiar. 1,000 past fights flashed in my mind. Did we ever agree on anything? I slide off the boulder, and Leo snaps his muzzle towards me, probably thinking I'm gonna leave. Instead, I lean one paw against the rock as I turn to glare at him. Feels better yelling at someone standing up rather than sitting down. Oh, I know exactly what you want. Oh, do you? You just want me to drop everything and come back here. Back to Echo. When did I ever ask you to drop anything? I just wanted to know if you're coming back. How am I supposed to know that? Why can't you plan ahead farther than next week? I swear it's always like this with you. I let out an exasperated laugh. I'm 21. I don't fucking know anything about anything. How should I know what I want? Well, I'm here. Don't you want to come back and live with me? You always planned for it. His voice softens and I pause. Thinking about it right now, it is something I would want. It's just... Is Echo so bad that all negatives outweigh my benefits? I... I mean... I gesture at the town in the distance, looking as shitty and rusted as ever, then to the lake, looking as shitty and mucky as ever, then to the desert around us, looking as shitty and dry as ever. I let all the scenery speak for itself. So yeah. Leo rolls his eyes. Buchika, Otter. I'm starting to think that you just want an excuse not to be around me. I'm starting to think that what Flynn said was true. He looks straight at me, eyes narrowing over his muzzles, his nostrils flaring. What? I'm not obsessed with you. I just miss everyone. That's all. Is that wrong? I go quiet for a while and turn to look back over to the lake, squinting at the bright reflective flashes of light. It can be. But then, I don't even know if he's telling the truth. He never say or not. He never say whether or not this whole thing was planned. That this whole thing he planned was just for me. He doesn't say anything, and we just sit there for a while. Even for a wolf, this whole sticking together thing is a little intense. He brought us together at the very beginning, sure, but after Sydney, it was on a whole different level. He barely even let us leave his sight. That's when I noticed a dark figure across the lake, walking on the side of the road. It's Flynn, and he's heading back to Echo. I can see that Leo spotted him too. His ears and eyes following him, but he doesn't say anything. Finally, I speak up. So, is what he said about me true? No. He says it quietly, but the answer is instant. Really? Leo takes another drag of the cigarette. Weirdly enough, I actually kind of like the smell of the smoke. I think his problem with you is that you don't act like you used to as a kid or a teenager. You told me before. I mean, you used to be a snarky motherfucker, even more than you are now. My stomach sinks. Yeah? Yeah, you grew up, mellowed out. Again, my insides twist, and I don't trust myself to speak right then. Leo gets the wrong idea and smiles, putting his arm around me and pulling me up to his side. What he said about everyone was total bullshit, especially Jenna. His whole family mantra did have its limits. The fact that Leo was so defensive of Jenna's decision to leave her family shows what a piece of shit they really are. I'm glad he's changed the subject though. Leaning my head on his shoulders, I let his hold comfort me. He's still watching Flynn. Ooh, chica. I can't fucking believe he did this now. Idiot. Idiot. Leo shouts it across the lake, and if I could, I'd lower my ears like a canine. I could see the small figure that had slid turn around and look back at us. He stays like that for a while. Looks like he's examining us. Finally, he turns back and keeps going towards Echo. Fucking idiot. How the hell am I gonna go ahead with what I planned this week? In the past, Flynn would have his blow-ups, then get over it, and so would we. But this time really did feel different. It was like he'd been chipping away at our group for years, and this is finally what broke it into pieces. Now, there's no putting it back together. Maybe it would have been better if we didn't come here. It's sort of my fault. Nope, it's Flynn's fault. Stupid to blame yourself. I don't know. We always had problems. Probably would have been better to just leave things as they were. No, Jesus. Why does everyone act like this whole thing, Echo, our friendship, is some kind of horrible tragedy? It hasn't exactly been a walk in the park. Life isn't a walk in the park. This is where we come from. Find some good in it instead of bitching about everything. It could be so much worse. My parents told me stories about their hometown. And compared to where I was born, this isn't shit. He huffs out the smoke through his nose, not bothering to blow it away from me this time, and I'm engulfed in the smell of tobacco. I mean, not to be an asshole, but you gringos have it easy. My mom got a phone call almost every month telling her they'd kill my dad just because they had money. You've always been good at making me feel like a spoiled brat. I'm sorry. His arm tightens around me, and I turn my head to rub my nose into his chest. I can smell his musk under the heavy deodorant. It's a familiar smell that I like. Don't be. I mean, we all play our cards, right? But try to have a little more perspective. I lean his chin on the top of my head. I feel like we should have some boundaries since we're not exactly a couple anymore. But this feels right. I love this town. And I love you guys. I just want things to work out, not to lose touch. We had something really special. You're such a wolf. Thanks. I lay my paw on his thigh and rub it slowly, thinking, I mean, is there really no way you could leave with me? It would make things so much easier. Please don't ask that. I can't leave them. I could never do that. You know this. Of course I did. We argued about it over 100 times already. I squeeze his thigh. So, are you still mad at me? I listen to Leo breathe in deeply, my head rising with his chest. No, Otter, I'm not mad. We just have a lot of things to figure out. But we will. I guess that's a good place as any to leave off, so I move on to another subject. So now that Flynn's fucked up the trip, what do we do next? He hasn't. We'll fix this. Just gotta get that dumbass to apologize. But once I do, we have a birthday to plan. I raised my eyebrow in surprise. It wasn't anyone's birthday anytime soon. Huh? Huh? Whose birthday? Carl's. Carl? His birthday wasn't until the end of April. Literally a month away. It's early. Really early. I know. But I'm kind of limited here on ideas of what we can do. I guess that makes sense. So when's that gonna be? Wednesday. We need to buy the stuff tomorrow, and I have the day off. Leo looks at his phone again. Speaking of which, I need to drive you guys back so I can get back to work. Oh, alright. I'm not doing much else tomorrow. I should be working on the project, but I've got plenty of time. Leo slides off the boulder and turns back to me. I'll ask Jenna and TJ too. I'll let Flynn cool off for a day. Do you know where TJ went? Yeah, he just texted me that he wanted to be left alone, which I understand. I get off the boulder as well, and Leo reaches his paw out to me. And this time, watch where you're walking. Hold on to me. That's probably a good idea. Peyton Mall is tiny compared to the one in Pueblo where I go to school. It's only got one floor, maybe 20 stores. Still, it wasn't a bad place to hang out when I was in high school, mostly because it had a movie theater. So, where do you guys want to go first? First, we only need to go to one. You sure? I mean, maybe we should help him branch out. He kind of knows what he likes. It's fine. Alright, lasers it is. It's one of those kind of shops where it looks like a radioactive clown jizzed on everything. Well, there's a lot of weird porn here. Think Carl would like that? I'm not really sure what Carl's into when it comes to that. I think he likes the paws, honestly. Why don't I just box up my foot and put a bow on it then? Porn? Really? Let's just stick to comic books. We both look at him. Nope. One moment. Everything okay, Teej? TJ's been in a bit of a mood ever since he woke up this morning. He didn't talk the whole drive here. Instead, just browsing through stuff on his phone. He's just salty he isn't roasting on the trail right now. No, this is fine. I'm fine, guys. TJ smiles to show us how fine he is. Yeah, sure. Well, Leo's driving us up halfway after this, so you're still gonna get yourself barbecue. You don't have to go if you don't want to. I don't know if it would be very fun if you were upset the whole time. At this point, Leo turns to me smiling. You going with them? And this fur? On these legs? Oh! Give me 1 second. I know I forgot something, sorry. There they are. Well, there they should be anyway. And this fur, on these legs, I lift a foot for him. No, it's over 90 degrees today. Yeah, best leave it to the land mammals, so Leo claps his paws together loudly. Let's split up and pick something out. I think it'll be fine if we keep it under 20 bucks. As soon as everyone wanders off, I look around. I'm not sure what I should get him. He doesn't get excited about much unless one of his comic books is being turned into a movie. Let's look at the action figures. I move further towards the back of the store to the action figures, which is where TJ is. He's turning over a toy gun in his paws, his ears down. I walk up next to him, pretending to look over the wall. Find anything interesting? TJ shrugs, pulling the trigger on the gun a few times. It's definitely a weird looking gun. It's pink, and the muzzle is perfectly round, and the end tapered. That's when I realized it's a penis water gun. I'm alright. Just a little tired. He looks over at me, his brow raised. You're feeling better after yesterday, though? Yeah, a bit. Just wish it hadn't happened. Of course. So you're not going with me and Jen on the hike then? Guess not. Leo said he might need some help setting up for the party at his house. I mean, you sort of promised me, but I guess that's alright. I cringe on the inside. You haven't seen him in a while, so it's good you guys can have time to catch up. TJ lifts the penis gun and points it at his face, squinting an eye out and looking down the barrel. How the fuck can he not tell? He must know what a dick looks like. I wonder what this is from. Do you think Carl will recognize it? He starts pulling the trigger several times. blowing the fur on the back of his face before opening his muzzle as well. I reach out and push it down. I think that's just a novelty item. You should get something else. Oh, okay. I can tell that TJ's unhappy, but there's not much that I can do about it. I wander off towards the opposite wall where all the posters are. Leo's standing there, looking over the display board. I stand next to him. No, I think every inch of his wall is covered. I don't know if there's any more room. Has he put anything on the ceiling? I don't think so. Then there's room. Well, alright. I guess I'll get him Luce. I don't think he's got one of him. I look over at the masked wolf. His arm is crossed, his bare chest and abs stuck out on full display. I waggle my brows. Sure, that's why you want him. Leo grins down at me. Oh yeah? Sorry, but he's not my type. I like my guys a little bit more supple. His tail slaps my ass. Well, I like him. I love muscles. Leo squares his shoulders and flexes, his biceps bulging to nearly the size of my head. Grrr. Like these? I feign indifference, shrugging. Meh. I'm more into the cut look, like Luce. Leo frowns, but I take a moment to slap his butt with my tail. Because it's not as flexible as his, I have to turn my body into it, and it practically thuds into his ass. Leo yelps and stumbles forward into the posters with a loud clatter. Whoa, calm down, boys. Jenna walks up from behind us and stands next to me. Her arms folded over a manga with a doe in a schoolgirl uniform on the front. That looks sexy, Jenna. Good pick. Jenna rolls her eyes as Leo reaches into the poster bin with Luce in it. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't have this one. TJ follows up behind Jenna, a small figurine of Trinity Weasel in his paw. I laugh. And of course you get that, TJ. Hey, it was a good price. And he's kidding, TJ. Anyway, maybe it'll help him take another look at that movie. It really is good. I realize that I'm the only one who hasn't picked out a gift. I look around anxiously. Right in front of me is a rack of beanie caps. One of them has a bloodied and decaying zombie face on it with its teeth bared at the brim. I assume it's to make the wearer look like their head is clamped inside. I think Carl likes zombies. I snatch it off the rack and hurry up to the front with the others. How does it look? I ask TJ as we're walking through the parking lot. It looks good, I guess. No, I mean, does it look like a zombie badger is eating my head? Oh, yeah, it looks great. He gives me a thumbs up. Ah. I pull it down over my face slowly. How do you think we'd all do in a zombie attack? I lift the hat back up over my forehead. Like, who would die first? My eyes fall involuntarily on TJ. Me? Why do you think that? Well, maybe not. You are pretty fast. I just kind of imagine you curling up in a ball. But honestly, I'd be the first to go. I stick out my leg. Look at how stubby these are. Psh, I'm the fastest, and I'd carry you. You wouldn't have to worry. Oh, really? I look over at Jenna and see that she's got a gleam in her eyes that always puts me on edge. Pretty sure I'm faster than you, Leo. Leo smirks. I'm pretty sure my legs are way longer and faster than yours, Jenna. Jenna sticks out her bag with the manga in it at me. I take it slowly, trying to catch her eye so I can shake my head frantically at her. Leo sticks his bag at TJ, almost punching him in the nose. TJ jumps and gingerly takes it from him, frowning. This is a parking lot, guys. Are you sure this is a good idea? But Jenna and Leo have already taken up their positions side by side, leaning forward. Alright, to that lamppost. You're on. Count us off, Chase. How is this proving anything? Don't you need to be carrying Chase? Alright. Um, Ready, set, go! Leo actually gets a bit ahead at the start since he anticipated the go, but Jenna catches up right away. In fact, she's 10 feet ahead of him just 5 seconds into the race. I can hear her laughing as she gracefully speeds ahead, her tail whipping around like a flag as she zips off towards the horizon. Leo, realizing he's going to lose, is frantically flailing his arms around, his ears and head down as he charges forward. I'm actually surprised by how bad he's losing. I mean, he used to play football back in high school, so he's had some training. With his head down, I guess he doesn't see the curb right in front of him, and his foot clips it as he passes. I hear the yelp, then see him careen off to the side, then roll on the asphalt before slamming up against the tire of a parked car. TJ gasps and covers his eyes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm already running up to where Leo's fallen. He's sitting up against the tire, one paw on his head as he grits his teeth in pain. Are you alright? Jesus, you hit that hard. I kneel down next to him, and the second he sees me, he grins and quickly scrambles up, brushing his paws. I'm fine. Just tripped a bit. I can see the spots on his paw pads that are skinned and bleeding, and I wince. Jesus Christ, Leo. That wasn't just a bit. Jenna, having noticed that her competition had eaten shit, jogs back to us, her paws on her hips as she breathes heavily. Wow, you okay, Leo? I'm fine. Want to try that again? This stupid curb got in my way. Nope, you're banged up enough as it is. You're fucking bleeding everywhere. I should probably drive. I'm fine, Chase. Leo rolls his eyes and shows me how much he doesn't care, but I can see the insides of his ears are bright red. There's a bit of an awkward silence, only punctuated by Leo and Jenna's breathing. Finally, Jenna walks up next to me and puts her paw around my shoulders. Well, now you know you're more likely to survive with a zombie apocalypse, Chase. Oh, well, now you know who you're more likely to survive with a zombie apocalypse, Chase. Remember it. She leans her head up against my shoulder and cringes as I see. And I cringe as I see Leo's smile turn icy. All right, cool. Let's get going. I wiggle out from under her arm. You guys need to get to your hike. The drive back is only a little awkward. To her credit, Jenna does try to apologize to Leo, but he just waves it off like it's not a big deal. I can tell by how he's overdoing the cheerfulness that that's not the case. We drop TJ and Jenna off halfway up the trail, which happens to be right next to the highway. Once we're alone in the car, Leo starts messing around with the CD player. You might remember this. As music fills the car, I'm immediately transported back to my high school days. Jesus, is this the carpet stains? Yep. Leo's grinning at me, occasionally glancing towards the road. This is the band we listened to together in my junior and senior year. You're still into this stuff. It's nostalgic. Music carries a lot of memories for me, and the fact that I hadn't listened to it since I'd last been in town. And the fact that I hadn't listened to it since I'd last been in town made it all more powerful. Sure, the music was simple, lyrics embarrassing, but I miss it. Maybe. I think I could be if I listened to it again. Me too. As we drive, I mouth the lyrics under my breath. You haunt everything in my life. I see you in the clouds, sky so blue. See your outline in the screen door too. Finally, we pull up to Leo's old ranch-style house. It looks the same as it always has, though the landscaping has definitely taken a turn for the worse. Leo parks, and we both get out. I'm busy staring at the driveway, thinking about all the times I walked across it, when a gravelly voice pulls me up from my reverie. Hey, who are you? I jump and look to the right, spotting a thin, angry-looking raccoon. He's standing next to some bushes, trimming them up. His yard is desert landscaped and looks pretty good next to Leo's property, which is nothing but weeds and sagebrush. Behind the raccoon is an old, rusty-looking trailer home. Thinking back, I'm pretty sure that really old mouse used to live here, but this guy's a raccoon, and looks pretty young, too. I I heard Leo walking quickly around from the front of his truck to stand next to me. Hey, Cud, this is Chase. Remember I was telling you about him? Leo puts his arm around me. Cud's demeanor changes immediately when he sees Leo. Oh, hey, Leo. This is him, then. Cud? My voice is just incredulous. My voice is just incredulous enough to be offensive, and the raccoon notices. His already scowling face gets even more scrunched up. I'm not exactly from around here. Oh, really? No. We stand there for a few seconds, then Leo grabs my arm. Alright. Glad you two can meet. We're actually in a bit of a hurry. Got a party to plan for. The raccoon watches us all the way to the door, before Leo finally closes it behind him. Really, Chase? What? It's a weird name. I sniff, but instead of the scented candle smell I thought I'd get, I'm met with an acrid smell of... Oh, I'm met with the acrid smell of cigarette smoke. Doesn't look the same either. It's all a bit empty compared to when I was last here. Makes sense, I guess, with Leo's parents and siblings gone. I'll tell him what a great guy you are. I tell him what a great guy you are for the past 2 years, and that's his first impression of you. I'm sorry. What happened to that old mouse guy? Charlie? He died a few months after you left. Cud moved in a few years ago. Oh, well, he seems a little grumpy. He is, but he's a good guy. Been through a lot. Leo sets the bags down on the kitchen table, pulling out the cake and gifts. So, why'd he move here? Said he likes the isolation. He works in Peyton. Something's happened in the city and he wanted to get away. Leo ruffles through the plastic cups and gifts. I forget what country he's originally from. His full name is Kudzu. How old's TJ again? I think he's 20, but he doesn't drink anyway. That's what you're wondering. I don't know. People change a lot in a few years. Anyway, let's go to my room. Gotta message Carl. Leo's room is small but cozy, a little cluttered, but clean enough. I walk over and sit on the bed, looking around at all the posters, most of them related to football or hip-hop moguls. You had most of these since high school. Kept the same room, huh? Your parents' room is bigger, isn't it? Yeah, well, I'm used to it being here. Gotta be weird hanging out in my parents' room anyway. Besides, he plops down next to me, bouncing me up and down on the bed. I don't really need the space. So what do you do around here? It feels kind of empty. I'm really only here to sleep. Otherwise, I'm on the computer. You know, porn. He looks at me and grins. I look over at his computer. It's got a nice chair, and I can guess what the box of tissue next to the monitor is for, but that's not what holds my attention. Instead, I see 3 holes punched right through the drywall. Around those are several more, less successful dents in the wall, with knuckle-shaped features. Holy shit. Leo's ears fall flat as he lets out an embarrassed laugh. Eesh, yeah, that was my fault. I really get into my games. I stand up and walk towards the wall, examining the damage. Leo stands up too, clearly uncomfortable. That was a few years ago, though I don't play that game anymore. Damn, Leo, you're fucking crazy. I poke a finger through one of the holes, realizing that punching through the wall with one try wasn't anything to sneeze at. And strong. So, you still got that temper of yours. I don't. It was just that one game. He got his paws on his hips, glaring down at me. I mean, what if I was standing there? What would you have done to my face? I put my face in front of one of the holes for effect. Leo blanches like I had slapped him. Hey, don't talk like that. I would never. I know. Sorry. It's just funny how angry you get sometimes. I mean, your phone looks pretty new. When's the last time you broke one? Oh, well, okay, the damn thing wasn't loading right, and he frowns. Why am I being interrogated right now? Hey, you want me to live here? I think I have the right to be concerned about my personal property. I, I only, I only broke your phone once. I spread my paws out. More than I've broken anyone else's phone. Yeah, well, I've never pretended that I cheated on someone as a joke. Oh, Chase, that's fucked. Okay, nah, My attitude cools a little. Yeah, well, high school, you know? I know. Anyway, it's nice to have you here again. He reaches out and pulls me into a one-armed hug. When I pull back, though, I notice the cut on the side of his arm. A few more on the back of his paw as well. At this point, the floor is clumped together with coagulated blood. Man, you really wiped out. Hmm? He looks at his arm. Oh, yeah. I should clean up. Hey, get on my comp while I'm gone and see if Carl's online. Leo talks to me as he's walking out the door into the hallway. I should be logged on. Ask him what he's doing tomorrow. We need to plan this out right. Okay. I sit down on the chair and wake up the computer. Sure enough, Leo's already logged into his account. I look at his friends list, seeing that Carl is idle. I send him the message anyway and lean back in my chair, almost freaking out as it leans back farther than I thought I would. Must be all those jerk-off sessions Leo had. I jump my paws against the desk for a bit, then look back towards the door. Probably gonna be a while, and I'm curious. I grin as I first check out his bookmarks. Social media litters the first few slots, and then there's this one called Mech Forums. Another one is called Mechanics United. Then, of course, there are a few sports and football specific sites. Finally, I get to the one called Gay Viddies. Then another one called Otter Sluts. Clearly, he has a type, right? I snort loudly at that one. I click on his history tab next. I scrolled through it for a while, and the first 50 or so are related to some DJ or hip hop artist. Finally, I see the word cock, and I know I'm looking at one of Leo's porn sessions. I see some pretty standard stuff. Ass, balls, making out, blowjobs. That's when I start seeing a pattern. Gay otters. Otter ass is male. Male otter's tail up. Gay blowjob otters. I raise my brow and click on the search bar for history, typing in otters before hitting an enter. The results spill down the window. The scroll bar is small enough that I have trouble clicking onto it to pull it down. Was Leo only into me because he had an otter fetish? I start to feel a little depressed as I scroll through the results when I notice another pattern. At least half of the results have wolves in the search phrase, and not just that. Wolf otter gay. Wolf otter gay blowjob. Otter gay, wolf gay couple kiss. Otter wolf gay cuddling. The nape of my neck prickles as I scroll through the hundreds of results. That's when I hear the door open in the hallway. I jump up, first covering the screen with my paws like an idiot, then quickly Xing out of the window. Except that doesn't work. The sheer amount of results I get from Leo's shame must have fucked up the CPU somehow. Desperately, I bang the mouse against the desk as I hear Leo's heavy footsteps down the hallway. I swear there's a cut on my back, but I can't reach it. Fuck, fuck, fuck! I mutter under my breath, heart pounding in my chest. It's just like 7 years ago when my mom caught me looking at gay porn. Leo walks in to see the computer screen still hopelessly frozen. Can you help me get... Leo stops mid-sentence as I look back at him. The guilt on my face is pretty damn obvious. What did you do? You know what? I try to turn off the screen by clicking the X furiously. Hey. And just as he's walking behind me, the window disappears. Wait a second. What were you looking at? I slip around in the chair, grinning. Nothing. My voice squeaks. Leo stares down at me. An exasperated smirk spreads across his muzzle. No, not nothing. What the hell are you looking at? Is there something I don't know about? He keeps on staring at me, but I get up and pretend to stretch, moving towards the bed. Well, yeah, there's something you don't know about, but now I know about some things. I switched my tail behind me a few times, teasing him, but mostly I'm just relieved I didn't get caught. I hear him move, but before I can react, he's on me. He grabs my arms and shoves them behind my back, then shoves me forward, falling on top of me on the bed. I grunt loudly as his weight pushes the air out of my lungs. Looks like I'm gonna have to get it out of you the old-fashioned way, Otter. I struggle a little bit, but there's no way in hell I'm getting out from under Leo if he wants me to stay here. Hey, get off! He clutches both of my wrists in one paw while he digs the other one to my side. I gasp and writhe desperately, bouncing up and down on the bed while he pinches at my ribs. No, no, please! I don't know anything. Uh-huh. Sure. Now what were you looking at? He leans harder on me and I feel his hot breath on my ear, nuzzling at it, only making me laugh and squirm harder. I don't... Well, I'm sure Leo is curious about what I was doing on his computer. I'm definitely sure there's another reason why he's doing this. I can feel it against my ass as he rolls around on top of me. Before I can really think about it, he lets go of my paws and the tickling stops. I only have a second of reprieve before both of his paws dig into my armpits. Practically swilling, I writhe around, managing to get on my back now that he isn't laying on top of me. It doesn't help much as he just goes right back to my armpits. I can't take it anymore. Alright! It's I was just searching your contacts to see if you were hooking up with anyone. The tickling stops, and I'm left gasping for air while Leo just looks down at me, grinning. Oh, a little jealous, huh? Maybe a little. Huh. Leo looks genuinely happy about that. His paws spread out to either side of my head as he grins down at me. I take my chance and shoot my paws up his sides, digging in. He yelps and curls up and falls on top of me again. I don't relent though. I just keep wiggling my fingers around his body. Obviously, he's letting me win. But it's still fun seeing him melt into a twitching pile of giggles. He rolls to the side of me and I get on top of him, pretending to wrestle him down like I'd done 100 times before. He playfully fights back, but he's grinning up at me with that dopey tongue out of the muzzle expression. On a whim, I plant my knee on his crotch. I'm not sure why. Probably to let him know that I knew, or maybe it was just my way to get back at him for getting off on this. He yelps again, this time more loudly, and folds up, pushing me off the side of him. Fuck! We both lay there, side by side, panting and sweating a little, my head resting on his arm. I think I won that. No way, I got you to squeal. And you cheated when you crushed my dick. Leo reaches over to me and to turn on a small, complicated-looking fan on his bedside table before flopping his other arm over his eyes. As I stare at the fan, I notice something else next to it and gasp loudly. What? Is that a fucking gun? Oh, yeah. It's real? Yeah, of course. I turn my head to stare at him. Why? You can't just leave that out here in the open. I'd never thought of Leo as a gun person. From what he told me, he'd hated guns. Well, my dad had us a bunch, and when he left, he gave me one for protection. Oh, wow! Do you really need it? A few people in this town, well, you know. I think I know what people he's talking about. Have you had to use it or something? I mean, it's just sitting out. Leo shifts, bouncing the bed. Let's just say some people need convincing when they're trying to cause trouble. I'm about to ask more, but Leo holds up his other paw. Not now. I'm tired. I'll tell you about it later. I go quiet, and it's hard not to stare at the gun. The concept of owning one is just so foreign to me. So, what's with that fan? I changed the subject. Leo looks confused, then over at the fan. Oh, it's a humidifier fan combo. I get nosebleeds a lot. Wait, is it the dry heat that does that? Is that why I get nosebleeds? I need a humidifier. Ah, I close my eyes and lay there against Leo. This is probably a bad idea. I know, but it feels good. And I'm tired. Even after this discovery I made on his computer. I guess I'm just trying not to think about that right now. The fan drones softly. Leo's arms move under my neck, and I feel his paw come up and start brushing a tuft of fur on my head with his thumb and index. I wish he would style this again. When I had it spiked? That was stupid. I liked it. I feel myself dozing off as his fingers start brushing my forehead. I feel the coolness of his anchor bracelet through my fur. Sometimes I think I'm going crazy. I'm barely awake at this point. The fan blowing in my face, Leo stroking, feeling his warm body next to mine. I saw you here last week, outside my window. Nope, chills. That registers as a little weird, so I come back out of my doze a little. Oh? Yeah, I just looked out and saw an otter just standing there. Huh? You think it was just another otter? Well, Leo yawns and turns its head towards me, snuffling at my ear. There's only one other guy. Remember Dale? He's fat though. Could have just been someone that was lost, right? Maybe. I went out and didn't see anyone. Well, sometimes people see things. My arm's tighten around his head as he gives it a sort of... His arm's tighten around my head as he gives it a sort of hug. Hope I'm not seeing things now. I roll my eyes, but his words remind me of something. Just like a bad dream, I'll be gone when you wake. But I swear, even if this was fake, I'll never forget your face. I sing a few lyrics from one of our old emo songs. That's when I hear Leo snore, so I give into my pleasant drowse and sink slowly into sleep. I feel a presence in the room, and it's angry. Chase! I jolt awake, but I can't open my eyes. Chase! Finally, my eyes twitch open, but I can't move. I can only wiggle the tips of my fingers. Just try to hide. I dare you. I flinch. The voice is right in my ear. I'm still in Leo's room, still in his bed, and I can vaguely make out his body in the corner of my eye. The room, though, it's tinged red. I hear clicking and see the monitor switch on. I see myself, bent over, tail raised, naked, looking back at the camera, my face warped. Dark holes bloom over my eyes, then all over the image, like it's burning. A tarantula crawls up over the foot of the bed and starts making its way towards me. I gasp through my nose since I can't seem to open my mouth. My heart's beating so fast, I think it's shaking the bed. My fingers wiggle as I try to yank myself awake, but the massive spider only moving closer as it crawls over my foot and onto my leg. The weight of the spider is real. The way it's disheaving my shirt as it crawls onto my stomach is real. This is real. No, it's not real. I've had this happen before. It started happening when I took the night shift at the grocery store next to campus. Very common. Very normal people have it happen all the time. I'll just close my eyes and wait it out. I do that, squeezing them shut as tight as I can, trying to find comfort in Leo's presence next to me, his arm still under my head. I feel the spider on my chest. Its weight so much more than it should be. But it stops there. doesn't approach my face. Then, I feel something else. Another presence. Coming from the right side of the wall, where the window is. Something's looking through it at me. I know it. I'm not opening my eyes though. I know if I do, I'll see something that'll freak me the fuck out, and the spider's bad enough. I hear tapping. Whatever it is tapping at the glass, wanting my attention. I know it's there, and it wants me to see it. What the fuck? This is lasting way longer than it should be. What if I'm stuck? Am I stuck? Am I gonna be stuck in this twisted Leo Spider Room dimension for the rest of my fucking life? He's mine. My eyes fly open. Already pointed towards the window, bracing myself. But it's empty. The sky's tinged red from the sunset, and so is the room. My dreaming brain exaggerated it to look like the color of blood. The spider's gone, and the angry presence is too. I sit up slowly and rub my face, feeling exhausted, even though I just slept. With the humidifier blowing right in my face, I can feel tiny droplets of water that collect on my waterproof fur. It'll be impossible to fall asleep again after that. Not only because of how brutal that sleep paralysis was, but because I still don't feel right. While the spider and the thing in my room were gone, the other thing outside the window, I feel like it's still there. I look out the window again and see nothing. But still, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. Wednesday. Alright, I think this is a good stopping point for tonight. Genuinely a little freaked out because, oh my god. Yeah, that was a little freaky. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry, I'm just a little freaked out. I'm gonna go cleanse my damn house right now. Jesus Christ, because this has been happening to me too, where I feel like something's been looking at me out my window. Oh my gosh, I wonder. I think this game is getting to me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a good night. Stay safe. And remember, always listen for the echoes. Take care.